Excited about being my first win as a Division I head coach. Guys gave me a little celebration in the locker room and gave me the game ball. But on the floor, I was especially happy in the first half with how we played. In the second half, thought we got a little careless and got a little bit too much one-on-one, and felt like I had to call a timeout to address it. Because I think one of the things we're really good at is playing team basketball, and when we're moving the basketball, everything looks a lot better. But at the same time, understanding each other's strength and weaknesses. But at the end of the day, it's a win, and I'm happy, excited, and ready to move on to the next.
Alan, did you want to pound it inside of Jordan as much as you guys did kind of early on? I mean, he was able to dominate there for a good stretch. So it kind of helped you guys get going a little bit.
Well, I think we're just in the process of scouting the team. You look at their size, and sometimes they play with a 6'6", 6'7" post kid, and I think one of the areas Jordan has really matured in a sense of being able a guy that we can throw it to in the post and be able to go get buckets, or if a guy plays them one-on-one, I think he's more than capable. But it was the mindset of our team going in to get him some early touches, but at the same time, understanding that whether he's getting played one-on-one or someone blitzes us, we still have something to give him just with our outside ability to shoot the basketball. To be honest with you.
You mentioned that Jordan Naughton's matured from last year to this year. How so?
Just mentally, and I think with how we're trying to play going forward, it helps him. One of the biggest things I got on him about coming back was just being able to run, because he's very long, does a great job protecting the rim. Anything around the rim, if he has an opportunity, I think he tries to finish aggressively. But at the same time, if you throw it in, he's a guy that can play with his back to the basket. So, we've, as a staff, just tried to give our guys confidence in the areas that they're good in.
Coach, you used a lot of your bench tonight. You saw a lot of different things from your players. Explain the decision to use most of your bench and get guys in so you could see them.
Well, again, early on, I coached it like I was going to coach a regular game. Maybe the only guy that didn't scratch in the first half was Andrew Mameka, but he's going to be within the rotation as well. But again, like I've told our team, I think that's our strength right now, is our ability to play a number of guys. But at the same time, it's our job as a staff to figure out within the game who's playing well that night, and maybe who's not playing up to par. Not playing bad, so to speak, but some night one guy may have it going. Like Jordan had a really good night tonight, but at the same time, I thought Alex Gorsey had a really good night tonight, so we kind of rode him a little bit. But there's going to be nights where Justin James has a good night, and he may play more minutes, or Lewis Adams. But I mean, I can call out a lot of guys' names that from night to night, it's going to be a different guy. It's not going to be the same guy every time.
Alan, this is the first time I got to see Lou Adams play extensively, and he showed a couple of athletic moves tonight. He can defend. He's got jumping ability, can drive to the basket. But is it fair to say that the final part of his game to come around is probably going to be his shooting? And do you anticipate that getting better?
Well, I think at Lou and Justin, what I believe with our team, we have guys that can shoot the basketball. We have a guy in Naughton that can score with his back to the basket. And I think Lou Adams and Justin James are guys that probably are better drivers, but at the same time, I expect them to shoot wide open jump shots as well. But I know that they understand their game, that they're not going to shoot 6, 7, 8 of them. But again, I've seen Lou within a practice go 4 for 6. So I'm more about the ball movement, being in an assertive mode. But if your feet are ready and you're set and we're penetrating and you're kicking and nobody's around you, shoot the basketball.
Was the pace and the aggressiveness that you spoke about before the season? Did you see that come to fruition in all the ways that you wanted to tonight?
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, I'm still with them in a sense of getting it up maybe a little quicker. And again, I've used the word more assertive than aggressive. But at the same time, the other thing I've been hitting them with is getting the ball moving. I think sometimes even if you're coming down and it may not be there, but for you to just bounce it 4 or 5 times, that's not good for us. Just give the ball to somebody else, cut through, move. And if we keep moving and we find each other and play unselfish basketball, again, I tell our guys at the end of the day, I'm not concerned about misses and makes. I'm concerned about the shot. Was it a good shot or a bad shot?
Any update on Jason Manaman when he went down with the injury there? I know he didn't leave the game, but any post-residual news on him?
Well, Lance, our trainer hasn't said anything to me. But Jason's a tough kid. He's a tough kid. If something was wrong, he would have said something. So I wouldn't expect it to be anything wrong.
With the pace you want to play with this team, you satisfied with 11 turnovers?
Actually, to think about what we're trying to do, I mean, if you think about last year, years before, when we played probably a little bit slower or conservative, I guess, our goal was always 10 turnovers. We wanted to always be under 10. So to try to play with a little bit more up tempo, to have 11, I think that's a really good thing. But at the same time, again, I care about getting it up and down the floor a little bit, but being more assertive. And if you think back to our Shadow State game, I think we had about 17. So, going from that game, which we addressed in a few days of practice of taking care of the basketball, so to go down from 17 to 11, I think is pretty good.
When you're pushing the pace as much as you guys are, when you talk about turnovers and limiting them in years past, is there a number or is there an acceptable trade-off, Alan, in terms of, I will concede that playing this kind of style of ball, we're probably going to turn the ball over a little bit more?
Yeah, well that's what I talk to our guys about. I just care more about it being careless versus assertive. If we're turning the ball over, trying to do something within what we're capable of doing, then I'm okay with that. But when we're careless and just making silly or stupid, I should say stupid, but when we're trying to make home run plays, I'm more concerned about that. So we clip those type of plays to where, it wasn't even pressure that caused it. It wasn't even this that they did on defense that caused it. It was more self-inflicted than what they did. But if we're playing downhill and we're playing aggressive and we're moving the basketball and the guy turns the ball over, I'm okay with that because I don't want guys to be hesitant. I don't want guys to be hesitant.
I think it was a 9-point game midway through the first when Lou Adams threw down that dunk. What kind of spark did that give you guys? Because it seemed like you really opened up the game and really put it on him after that.
If I can remember, I want to say I called the timeout right before that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I hit them with in the huddle was more about just playing team basketball. We ran that play a little bit earlier in the half, and JJ took it. And I thought it was more of a conservative move by him. And when Lou ran it, my thing is you attack the rim. If somebody steps up, then you make the next best play. But, I think plays like that, no different than, guys making 3-point shots. But what I try to get our guys to understand is offense is going to be offense for us.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, that same activity or energy that you get when you see a dunk or a 3-point shot, same thing when you get a charge. Same thing when we get 3 stops. Same thing when we get an 80-20 ball. All those things should ignite our fire as well.
Quick turnaround going to Montana now. What will that be like for this group?
Actually, it'll tell me a little bit more about my team, to be honest with you. Our team. Tell me a little bit more about us. We're on the road against a very, very good opponent, a well-coached team. But at the end of the day, we'll probably take it a little bit easy tomorrow. Probably be more brain food than it is physical contact. Get on the floor Sunday and work, and then get ready to go play a tough opponent on the road.
Alan, you did a lot of good things tonight. You won the game by almost 40 points. You shot the ball well, rebounded well. What, if anything, do you take out of this game that, from what you saw on the court tonight, that you think, you say, we got to get better at this?
A don't want to be a nitpick guy with our guys. One of the things I did tell them about was free throws, 12 for 18. I thought that was a downfall, especially with the way we've been shooting in practice. I think we've been shooting it actually over 80% as a group. That would be one thing I think we would hit on. And then the other thing, I think I just got to keep reiterating how we want to play and how we want to play unselfish basketball. Because I feel when we play that way, I think we could be a good team. And at the same time, conversely, on the defensive end of the floor, you know, we have to play with energy. We have to play with activity. We have to be a scrappy basketball team. Like I said earlier, I get excited as a coach more about some of the things that we do on the defensive end of the floor versus some of the things that we do on the offensive end of the floor.